Sports Scene, Hampton Road's premier interview show with Greg Bicaveras, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM.
Virginia Beach, make it the summer to remember. Get ready for the Summer Lights Tour with Jeremy Camp.
You call me out.
Matthew West.
I'm going all in.
And Ren Collective. With special guest Corinne Hawthorne. July 19th, 7 p.m. at Rock Church in Virginia Beach. Tickets are on sale now online at summerlightstour.com. That's summerlightstour.com. The Summer Lights Tour, presented by Compassion International.
From Chesapeake, Virginia, the Lighthouse 100.1 presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic. Now here is Greg Bicaveras.
Sports Scene, midweek online, Saturday on the radio from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 100.1 FM, The Lighthouse, 1010 a.m. TuneIn.com, type in WPMH in the search bar to listen Saturday on the radio at 10 o'clock. Greg Bicaveras along with Joe Daniel right here on The Lighthouse. Sports Scene is an interview show, and also watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Thank you to all of our great listeners. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com and click the YouTube link on the homepage for archived audio and video. Twitter @GregBic, that's GregBic, and you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on gjbtv.com in the contact section. Thank you to our military. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Sponsors on gjbtv.com. Marketplace sponsors in Hampton Roads, onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by Meek Casita. Show is presented by hrsmhof.com. World Cup going on, Tides, Major League Baseball, a lot going on. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars, newcomers, and tourists. Stay tuned.
Are you a Christian business owner or an aspiring Christian entrepreneur? Do you want to transform the marketplace in your community? Then it's time for you to discover B2B groups, small group Bible studies that meet regularly to study what the Word of God says about business and to encourage one another with God's powerful wisdom for our lives and businesses. To learn more about joining or starting a group, visit blessed2bless.net. That's blessed, the numeral 2, bless.net.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicaveras.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. Our good friends at Sakura Japanese Restaurant, Sushi Bar, Takeout, Dine-In. They deliver through orderup.com. Go by and see Jasmine, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake. Give them a call at 410-4577 for great sushi and hot food. Let's welcome Marty O'Brien. He's been on Sports Scene, Sports Highlights, worked for the Daily Press and several publications over the years. Marty, how are you, my friend?
Good morning, Greg. Nice to talk to you.
First of all, how's that mix going with the pilot of the Daily Press? A lot of y'all have integrated some articles already.
Exactly, yeah. Even before the announcement a few weeks ago that the pilot and Daily Press were with the same owners, we had been, Norm Wood had been, his articles for Virginia Tech had been in the pilot, and the pilot articles for UVA football had been in the Daily Press. And now you're seeing David Teal's articles, his columns going in there a lot. And, hopefully some of my Langley Speedway stuff will be in there as time goes on. We hadn't talked about that, but I thought about it the other day and mentioned it to my editor. So, I know there's a ton of Langley fans over on the south side. So
absolutely. Well, let's talk about, first of all, congratulations getting the Bob Moskowitz Award. Several different winners over the years. I know you're happy about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. For people on your show don't know, that's a media award for the Peninsula Sports Club. And yeah, there have been a lot of, great writers and broadcasters over the years, probably a half dozen daily press people, which I'm proud of. And then yourself for what you do, you've gotten the award. And it was named after Bob Moskowitz, who's a State Hall of Fame writer, and was at the Daily Press many years ago, and I know him well. So, it's a nice honor.
Let's talk, before we get to Langley, about NASCAR. Your thoughts on the Richmond race this past spring, and right now it seems like Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Boyer are right there at the top.
Yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head. Kyle Busch won at Richmond. If memory serves, he was pretty dominant there, and like he can be and was at that stage of the season. Toyota dominated NASCAR last year, and Busch drives a Toyota. The Fords have made a really big comeback, though, with the two that you mentioned, Harvick with 5 wins and Boyer with 2. So that looks to be the group that's going to fight it out down the stretch. Obviously Martin Truex, who won in pretty dominant fashion last year, he has a couple of wins as well. So if you're looking for a NASCAR champion, those 4 would be your best picks right now. And then maybe when they get to the playoffs, because they have the one race shootout at the end, if Kyle Larson finds a way to get the Homestead in Miami, Florida, then he's really good on that track. The thing that surprises me about NASCAR is just how Chevrolet continues to be so weak over the past couple of seasons. That's the team with Jimmy Johnson and Chase Elliott, that group, the Chevrolets, and they had won the Manufacturers' Cup for most of the years, going back more than a decade until last year. And, they still haven't regained their footing. We may see that in the second half of the season like we did with Toyota last year. It'll be interesting to look for.
Talking to Marty O'Brien from the Daily Press, Greg Bick on Twitter. Glad you're with us. For more, go to gjbtv.com. And what about Chase Elliott? He's an up-and-comer.
He's an up-and-comer, but, the funny thing is, I think we're approaching 100 races and he hasn't won. Mm-hmm. And, we're seeing some of the young guys get races. Busher got a win last year, and, Allmendinger wasn't a first-time winner, but he won recently. And so, we've seen a number of these. Austin Dillon won the Daytona 500, and, Ryan Blaney I think has a win and has been, right around there a lot. And Chase still hasn't gotten the win. He has a ton of seconds. But he's really, and the only reason I harp on that storyline a little bit is that it's getting so deep into his career, it becomes a storyline, and it's almost like Peyton Manning in a way. Well, maybe not like Peyton Manning. Chase Elliott isn't quite to that stature yet that Peyton Manning was, but you get that you're a good athlete, and you still, for better or worse, have to live with that, thing hanging over you that you haven't won yet, and that's where Chase Elliott is right now.
And Bill Elliott, of course, raced for a long time.
Oh, he was, one of the greats of the sports 30 years ago. He, won the Winston Million, and I don't know if he was the first over 200, but he was one of the first, I think, over 200 miles an hour consistently, and was a champion, and he was the most popular driver in the sport, essentially, with Dale Earnhardt Sr. for all the years that he was in NASCAR, even though Dale Earnhardt Sr. was more accomplished. Bill Elliott just caught the attention of fans and never lost it. And I think NASCAR would love to see that happen with Chase, but Bill won a lot early and often, and Chase has got to do that to, get to the same level his father was at.
A lot of the casual fans saw the groundbreaking of Danica Patrick as a woman, but doing IRL and NASCAR, it's not easy. Not many people have done that. She started off IRL. We saw her in Richmond and also in NASCAR in Richmond. Your thoughts as she ends her career?
Well, being around racing like I am, I mean, you saw a lot of sexism with Danica. To me, just a feeling I had. I think there were a lot of people who've been rooted in the sport for a long time that were happy to see her fail, and there were a couple of reasons for that. You know, it had been a male-dominated sport for a long time, but part of it, too, was that NASCAR, you know, she came along at a time when NASCAR was starting to decline a little bit, and they jumped on her, you know, just the popularity that she had gained from racing in Indy cars and tried to run with it in NASCAR, and she didn't turn out to be a great NASCAR driver. You know, there were some tracks, you know, especially the super speedways like Talladega, and she won the pole at Daytona, where she did well. But she never did turn out to be a great driver. But what Danica will always be remembered for, and I think she's going to make the Hall of Fame for it, was no woman before her had ever shown that you can drive in NASCAR regularly, that you can be part of the, you know, full-time roster. You know, there had been some, you know, drivers in NASCAR before. Janet Guthrie is the one that stands out the most because she was very talented, and I think perhaps considered a little more of a legitimate driver, you know, talent-wise than Danica was, but she couldn't get a full-time ride back in the day. And Danica showed, and I think she showed for all these young ladies that are out at the short tracks like Langley Speedway, that, hey, you know, you can make it full-time. Now I think the next one that comes along is going to need to, you know, make it full-time and show, you know, that she's one of the best drivers in NASCAR, and I think that'll really help, you know, females in the sport a lot more. But Danica's popularity, I think, it really helped her, you know, keep the ride for a long time that she had, and that's something she's going to be remembered for.
Your thoughts on Langley? You covered for several decades, of course. You and Al Pierce, of course. We have the Hampton Road Sports Media Hall of Fame. We had it there May 12th, but it's been a lot of rain before and after that date.
Yes, they've had a fair amount of rain, but they, you know, and what that's done is cut down the number of late model races that they've had there this season. They've had 6 now. Unfortunately, the past 2 weekends they've gotten in 2 each. They have twin 75 lappers, but one thing that did is Philip Morris won the first 4 races out there, 2 twin nights. He won the 75 lappers, and he was going to be a full-time. He's a 5-time national champion. He was going to race there the full season and use that as his base of operations. But the rainouts and I think a little bit of a drop in the car count made him decide not to come back. So what's happening with Langley now, I think, is really exciting in a way, you know, is that we have a points race out there that involves 3 of the legends of the track. Danny Edwards Jr., Greg Edwards, and Mark Wirtz are all within a few points of each other. They were tied for first going into last week's races. And then Mark Wirtz moved a little bit ahead, you know, even though Danny Edwards got a win, and Greg moved a few points behind. But those are the 3 of the most popular and respected drivers in the history of the late model division at Langley. And I think as we go along through the season, if those 3 stay in a battle like they're in now, it's really going to help, you know, the track just as far as its notoriety and with fans showing up in the stands.
Marty, thank you so much. And what are your thoughts about the Peninsula Pilots? A lot of people still don't even know they're there. What type of marketing effort have they been doing?
Well, I haven't been there this season. Over the past couple of few seasons when I've been there, you know, they've had some pretty decent crowds. So I think whatever they're doing marketing-wise to get the word out to the community has been good. And again, this season with everything that's been so busy with Langley, and then we just finished with state playoffs in high schools. I haven't gotten a chance to go out there, so I'm not sure how they're doing, but I've been pretty impressed with, how they've done it over the years. You know, I covered them a little bit in the very early days that they started, which I think was back in the early 2000s, and there weren't, or late 90s, and there weren't a lot of people there. And over the years, I've been impressed with their growth.
And, of course, your thoughts on our first Hall of Fame class for the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. You are a media consultant.
Well, you know, you mentioned Langley Speedway hosted that, 5-person Sports Media Hall of Fame class and did a great job. It was a nice event. And then I thought that the class itself, was very representative of sports media. You know, you had Jennifer Williams and Mike Minium with the Daily Press, and Jim Dusabella with the Virginian Pilot. Carol Hudson was a long-time sports information director at Hampton University, but mainly Old Dominion. And then, of course, everybody knows who Bruce Rader was. So I just thought it was a good night. And for media people in the area, you know, in all of Hampton Roads, there are some awards out there, like you mentioned the Moskowitz Award earlier, but to have a comprehensive award for all of Hampton Roads, I think is something that's been long overdue.
Very good. Marty, all the best. Have a great rest of the summer, and we look forward to talking to you very soon.
Good talking to you, Greg.
Thank you. Marty O'Brien right there from the Daily Press on Sports Scene every Saturday morning right here at 10 o'clock on the Lighthouse. Stay tuned.
Are you searching for a genuine connection with God and others? Then join Virginia Beach United Methodist this week for worship, life groups, holy yoga, or one of the many other activities we offer every week in a warm and friendly environment. We are located at 212 19th Street in Virginia Beach with modern services at 9:30 a.m. and traditional services at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. For more information, please visit our website at vbumc.org or call 757-428-7727.
The best guests appear here on Sports Scene. Now back to Greg in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studios.
And welcome back to Sports Scene right here on the Lighthouse. CP Shuckers, Locals Tradition, Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue, delicious food, great apps, steak bites, sandwiches, burgers, all the games on TV. Go by and see Matt and Mark and the great crew at CP Shuckers. For more, go to cpshuckers.com. Like them on Facebook. Spend your summer at CP Shuckers for locals and tourists. We've had them on Sports Scene. We've had them on Sports Highlights. Let's welcome back from the Hampton Cup Regatta as we get closer to the date. Craig, how are you, my friend?
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing today?
Very good, very good. So what's going on? We spoke in May. Now we're getting close to July.
Yep, we're roughly 3.5 months out from our event this year, which will be September 29th and 30th out there by Fort Monroe. We are getting things locked down. We've got our vendors coming in. We've got sponsors coming in, returning sponsors, new sponsors. All the equipment contracts are being drafted, being written. Things are coming together well. Very
good. What goes on during the summer months as it gets closer? You mentioned a lot of the sponsors and the vendors, of course. How about the facility and operations?
We do go out there and do a site visit to double check on conditions at the piers, just make sure there's no surprises sometimes. And we are pretty well connected with the city of Hampton. You know, if there's anything major going on the bridge, that kind of thing, they know when our event is. They avoid any kind of road closure or construction there as well. There is a new pier going in over there at the community center on Mill Creek, but that will not interfere with our races. Actually, we may look to maybe utilizing that pier next year. But everything is looking well, and everything's ready to roll.
You talk about the pier and the conditions. I guess even leading up to around Labor Day, you have to really keep an eye on it, right, Craig?
Oh, yeah. Because anything can happen out there. Major thing that we like to keep an eye on is that anything special going on, any kind of major construction projects like that pier that's going over there. And if there's any kind of out of the blue situation that happens. And us being local, all our committee members are local. We're over there at the fort, going over to Ouzel Finch, or going over to the Paradise Ocean Club, or just going to the fort itself on a regular basis. So we're keeping our eyes peeled with that. We've got our situational awareness with that, and anything pops up, we always get a phone call, and we go over there and check it out, or make sure we're all on the same page with that.
And, of course, as it gets closer, I know you're excited about the TV commercial because that'll be a way to showcase the event to the public for kind of a tease to get people out there.
Absolutely. We've got a high-energy commercial that we've done some B-roll footage with one of our local video production companies, and we just showcase some of the faster boats we got to give everybody a little taste of what will happen out there on the water, some of their views, because that video is shot from the bridge. That will give the spectator the exact view that he's got or she's got, and just be able to feel that water spray come across them when the wind's just right, and it just pumps me up whenever I see it.
And of course, you're passionate about the event, one of the longest races in the world, right there, as far as tenure and time and talent and treasure. But we mentioned about your board. I guess everybody has to be on the same page leading up to an event because it's such a big event. You really can't afford any derailments.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many different facets to the event. Everything from our facilities to our security to our ABC permits, our special permits with the city, and we've got one of the best committees I think of any kind of organization for an event like this we can have. Everybody on our committee is well vetted, well versed, and seasoned, and they know exactly what they have to go out there and do. We know the belly buttons we have to go push for our equipment, and just roll with that. I mean, whenever I go to somebody and say, okay, you've got this area, you know what it is, you got everything you need anything from me as vice chair? Do I need to help you out? And everyone knows what they've got to do. And I'm blessed with that. The whole event is blessed with having that kind of committee on board. The
key is delegating, right, Craig?
Absolutely. If you try to do everything yourself, you'll never get it done and just drive yourself crazy. And that's what's saying, whenever we go to somebody and, hey, our logistics guys, they have the generator contracts, they've got the porta potties, and golf carts, all the different things, all the different facets go into the event. And I just go to them and say, hey, we have a checklist. You got what you need? Yep, good. Let's roll to the next one.
Let's talk about the start and stop dates for both dates. Of course, it does take up the entire weekend. It's all inclusive. There'll be food vendors out there. But talk about the dates, and the website, of course, is updated as well.
Yeah, we just got a new launch on our revised website, our revitalized website. Everything's there. Our event technically starts Friday night with our kickoff party over at Ouzelfinch, and I'll be starting off at 6 p.m. with music from the Jason Kale Band starting at 7. We'll have the field there filled up with race boats that you can come over and sit in them, take pictures with them, talk to the drivers, and really get a better view or better feel for how big these boats are. And then we'll roll into Saturday and Sunday, and we should start racing depending on our tides between 11 and 12 o'clock noon. And we'll run as long as we have boats to run, typically till about 5 o'clock each evening.
So kind of kickoff Friday, September 28th. Race day will be the 29th and 30th, correct?
That's right. Yep. Friday night the 28th, and then the race is 29th and 30th.
Right. And, of course, talk about some of the racers, the drivers that we might recognize that have been here over the years.
Over the years, we've had Scott Liddycoat, Jody Klaus, Kevin Gunner, Keith Gunner, his dad. We got Scott Liddycoat's brother Todd. Hopefully he'll come down. He's actually a Canadian racer. He races one of our 5 liters. Tony Black runs the National Mod 100. He actually featured this month's Propeller magazine. And just we have a whole host of family members that come in. And that's what we do consider all these racers are our family, because over the years, they come back to us year after year, and it's like a family reunion of sorts.
We're talking to Craig Cole. He's with the Hampton Cup Regatta. And Craig, we mentioned it's an all-inclusive event, but the city council, the people of Hampton, the residents, the local community, the volunteers are all a big part, including your board we mentioned.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned before, we have so many different facets that go into this. I mean, we work hand in hand with folks at Parks and Rec. They're an awesome bunch of folks over there. We are hand in hand with our council members. We actually go and appear in front of city council, let them know about a month or so out from the event, let them know how everything's developing, give them a chance to ask us any questions directly in a public forum. We just work hand in hand with everybody, and it's definitely a team effort, and it's something the community really comes together for. We could not put on this event without our volunteers. We have about 180 to 200 volunteer opportunities with all the different positions and the shifts that we have out there, and that's really how I got started. I came out as a day volunteer in 2000. I came out for a half day, and I just kept coming back year after year for more and more. And we have a lot of people who are out there. They actually will start showing up on Thursday to help us out set up the bridge, and they'll run through the whole weekend with us. And then we have some people who will come for 4 hours, and that's fine. We love them and like to see them.
Right, and of course, it's once a year, folks. Take advantage of it. It's not something that gets old or boring. It's always creative. It's always new. It never really stays the same. I mean, the core stays the same as far as the race, but something's always evolving every year at the Hampton Cup Regatta.
Yep, we always try to bring in new facets, new attractions that we can do. We're looking to pump up our kids area. We've got a couple special things that we haven't quite locked down yet, but we have some special surprises. Hopefully, we'll be able to present. We actually will have our Blackbeard crew, our pirate reenactors, back out this year. They've got a really good response to them last year, and we also will continue to have our music tent out on the bridge that will play in between the race heats to help keep folks entertained, just to bring a whole festival atmosphere to the bridge, and just keep everybody happy and just there to watch a great race.
And leave us finally with how people can connect on social media to get updates and website.
We have Facebook, and we have our Facebook events. We're also on Instagram, and we also have our website, HamptonCupRegatta.com. And on Facebook and Instagram, it does the same name, Hampton Cup Regatta. And then also our email address is hcr1926@gmail.com. Anyone who has a question or request, or if you have you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please let us know.
Very good. Craig Cole, all the best. We'll be talking to you in July, August, and September. Look forward to it as it gets closer and closer to the wonderful event of the Hampton Cup Regatta 2018.
I'm looking forward to it, man. The suspense is building.
And it really is. Craig Cole, thank you. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you, Greg. You too.
Thank you. All right, that's Craig Cole right there from the Hampton Cup Regatta. Our good friends at Craft 17. Go by and see Jamie and the wonderful staff, Chris and the great crew over there. Appetizers, craft chili, fried house pickles, the Wagyu burgers, toppings, Carolina snap dogs, chicken sandwiches, salads, vegan burgers, house-cut fries, beer-battered onion rings. Like them on Facebook. Go by there and spend the summer. Locals, tourists love it. Craft 17, great place for food and beverages and fun in Virginia Beach.
If you're pregnant, then you know there's a lot to consider. Here are some tips. Eat nourishing food, stay active, get plenty of rest, and do all you can to minimize stress. Avoid smoking and alcohol. Learn your options for care before, during, and after the baby comes. Start planning for breastfeeding. It offers health benefits to you and your baby. It's best for you both if you give birth after 39 weeks of pregnancy. Learn more at childbirthconnection.org. This public service message is from the National Partnership for Women and Families, United Healthcare, and this station.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bickaveris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene. Our good friends at Panera. All items 100% clean. They cater, they deliver. Take advantage of some excellent soups, sandwiches, salads, bagels, smoothies, fruit, breakfast sandwiches, cookies, desserts. Go by and see Brian and the staff. For more, go to PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be. Summer headquarters for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Right there in Harborview in Suffolk at 6255 College Drive. Give them a call at 483-3670. Open 7 days a week. Panera Bread. Let's welcome our weekly feature with the Norfolk Tides, Mr. Media Relations, Ian Locke. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Very good. Before we talk about Indianapolis, let's talk about the recent homestand. How'd it go?
Went pretty well. For the first time in a long time, we actually had some sun, which was very welcomed. We had a rough stretch to start the year with a lot of rain at the ballpark, but won 3 of the last 4 games to finish up a winning homestand, and team enters play today in the playoff hunt. In the wild card by a half game and a half game back in the division. So team's been playing well all year, and we're hoping it continues.
Yeah, even Joe Gregory was interviewed about the weather himself.
Yeah, there was a stretch where we had, I think it was 12 of 13 games, 13 days in which we had home games where it rained. And that didn't necessarily result in rainouts here at the ballpark, but it did result in a couple delays. There were a couple rainouts, and you know as well as anybody, if it rains at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we can still play a game that night, but that kind of eliminates any sort of walk-up attendance for us at the ballpark. So we were happy to get the some nice weather. We had some real nice crowds the last couple days of the homestand, including over 8,000. I think we averaged 7,500 of the last 4 days of the homestand. So nice weather helps, and the ball club playing well as well. those things together makes for a lot of people at the Harbor Park.
Every month is, of course, crucial. April and May, school is still going on. The weather is not great even in June, July, and August. But June and July have to be special at Harbor Park because school is out. It's summer. There's no distractions of back to school. And really, it's just the heart of summer. It's the heart of vacation. Really, it's the heart of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, they're known as baseball players are the boys of summer. I mean, when school gets out, mid to late May, June and July are our bread and butter, and you'll see we ramp up a little bit more of our promotions in June and July just because we know that's when people are going to be out of the ballpark. So we try and do everything we can to put on a good show for everyone. Not saying we don't do that in April and May, but we kind of throw in a lot more of our bigger promotions once the summer months hit. And we try and do everything we can to make people come out and have a good time.
Well, the Tides, talk about their next few opponents coming up.
So we had a road trip through the International League West Division where we play Indianapolis and Louisville, 6 games, and we come back home on Monday, June 25th. And June 25th is actually a doubleheader here at the ballpark, so fans can get 2 games for the price of 1. That doubleheader starts at 5:05. There's 2 7-inning games, but that's actually our one of our turn back the clock nights where we have 50-cent hot dogs, 50-cent soda, and 50-cent popcorn. So you can get 2 games for the price of 1 and get 50-cent hot dog, soda, and popcorn that night, and we'll be wearing throwback Norfolk Tars jerseys as well that night. So it's a kind of turn back the clock night. Should be a really big night when the team gets back in town. That's on Monday, June 25th at 5:05.
Yeah, promotions and fireworks are a big part of the summer, but good thing is baseball is really good too, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many players. I think already 15 different players have played for both the Orioles and the Tides this year. So it's a very high quality baseball, AAA, where we see guys go on all the time from here, and you watch them at Harbor Park on a Tuesday night, and you turn on Mathin or what have you, ESPN on Wednesday, and you see guys that were at Harbor Park on Tuesday playing for the Orioles on Wednesday. So it's a really high quality baseball, and a fantastic facility in downtown Norfolk, really not that far away from the ocean front. So any tourists in town who want to just swing on down, it's basically a 20-minute drive down 264 into downtown Norfolk, and you can watch some high-quality baseball and watch some fireworks. We have 3 fireworks promotions scheduled for this upcoming homestand, and there's always something going on here at the ballpark. So anyone who wants to come out and watch us, we'd love to have you.
And that's what we love about this Saturday morning airtime on the radio is a lot of these tourists are stuck on 64 scanning the radio, and you hear Ian Locke. For more, go to NorfolkTides.com, find out when the next homestand is. You can't sit out in the sun all the time. A baseball game is great entertainment.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, there's the for those who haven't been to Harbor Park before, it's situated right on the Elizabeth River in downtown Norfolk, so there's always a nice breeze coming off the water. The sight lines are great. Like I said, the baseball is fantastic, and fireworks. Kids love fireworks. Adults love fireworks. Fireworks are great. We actually have 3 fireworks dates scheduled on our next homestand: Friday, June 29th, and Saturday, June 30th. Saturday, June 30th is our special Star Wars night that we do every year. So we'll have a whole bunch of costume characters, some random Jedis and all sorts of different characters from throughout the galaxy are here at the ballpark and kind of traversing through the concourse, taking pictures with fans and stuff. So that's always a really cool night every year, and that's always a really big promotion for us. And then for those who want extra fireworks, July 3rd, that's what wraps up our homestand, which is a 9-game homestand starting on the 25th. But July 3rd is our annual Independence Day fireworks. We don't have a home game on July 4th, but we get the party started a little early with a fireworks show on the 3rd.
Don't forget, next week we'll talk about some of the staff working behind the scenes at Tides during the front office, as well as the secretaries and everything else. Ian always kind of gives credit to them once a year on our show, so we'll be doing that next week. Of course, as far as baseball is concerned, you mentioned Star Wars, so I got to bring it up. Did you see Solo?
I have not. I've been, we had our homestand here the last 7 days and an off day yesterday, and I'm right back to work today. So I want to see it. I have my fiance is not a really big Star Wars person, so I'm struggling to get someone to go with. So at some point I got to swing out and maybe catch that. Did you see it?
Yes, you'll like the ending.
Okay, I'll look forward to it.
Yes, I'll just say this had a Sith ending, very much a Sith ending.
Okay,
that's all I'm going to say because it's been out for a few weeks now. All right, well let's talk about this: pitching, hitting, fielding, bunts, home runs. You mentioned triples earlier on during the show. Talk about what's been standing out as far as the hitting and the pitching this year.
We've done we've had a couple good prospects coming through and playing well. I mean, we've had early on we had a really good offense where we averaged. I think we led the league in offense for probably the first 6 weeks of the year, where we were scoring almost 5 runs a game, and didn't really have any big standouts as far as home runs or any big numbers, but we were getting hits with runners in scoring position and playing baseball the right way and getting clutch hits and winning a whole lot of close games. I think we've played more one-run games than anyone else in the league right now, if not the most, very close to the most. And we've done really well in those games. And then the last 6 weeks or so, it's kind of flip-flopped a little bit, and our pitching staff has done a great job. And we've also had a propensity for some late comebacks. We won on Saturday night. We led 2-1 going into the 8th inning. Charlotte scored 2 runs to go up 3-2, and we bounced right back and scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th to win 4-3. And then on Sunday, to wrap up our homestand, we were losing 4-3 going to the 8th, and we scored just a simple 8 runs on 8 hits in the 8th inning to rally for an 11-4 win. So, some good defense. We're playing really good defense all year. Clutch hitting, and then some timely hitting as well has led to like I said, a good record, and we're a half game out in the division, and we're currently the wild card leaders. So a lot of baseball left to go. We're about halfway done with the season, but for the first half, we've played really well.
But it's not been a good first half for the Baltimore Orioles. Talk about how has that affected the local ball club. It really doesn't affect your attendance, really doesn't affect anything down here operation standpoint, but it's still kind of a Debbie Downer when the Orioles are really this bad.
Yeah, it's the saying goes, if all the minor league affiliates lose one day and the Orioles win, then it's a good day for the Orioles. We know we're here, and our players know here that this is a developmental area. We want to win the games for sure, but the players will tell you straight up their main goal is to be performing for the Baltimore Orioles down the road. So to see this big club struggling is definitely something you see on the kind of the back burner every day. If we win a game, you look and the Orioles lose, you go, oh man, that stinks. But these players know that they're playing to not just for the Orioles. At some point they'd love to be for the Orioles for sure, but if another big league club wants them, they're always playing for not just the Orioles but 29 other big league clubs, because who knows, one day with the way free agency and trades and things work, that you may end up being with someone else. So the Orioles, will be interesting to see what they do with the trade deadline coming up in a few weeks. They obviously have a lot of players between Manny Machado and Zach Britton and Brad Brock and Adam Jones, staples of that organization that are now in the last year of their contract. So we'll be watching that intently, because that's going to affect us a lot. Every time the Orioles make any sort of move, if they do end up trading Machado or someone else, and he leaves, and they're probably going to take some guys from us. So we know that's what we're here for. We know that the Orioles' goal isn't to have the Tides win the championship. They'd love to have that, but the Orioles' goal is to have the Orioles win the World Series. So anything we can do to help that happen, obviously not going to happen this year, but maybe down the road, we're more than happy to do it, and we're a very happy partner with the Orioles.
Right, and of course they played at Harbor Park earlier this year in exhibition. 20 years since Harbor Park has hosted the AAA All-Star Game, and of course you have to be excited too that the Nationals will be hosting the All-Star Game in July.
Yeah, it's cool to have. It's always cool to have one of those big events, here in the Mid-Atlantic. Trying to think if I'm going to be able to go up there. It's weird. The All-Star breaks actually don't match up between AAA and the major leagues for the first time since I've been doing this. Normally both All-Star games match up, but I think the All-Star game at the major league level is a week later than the AAA All-Star game this year, which is kind of a quirk in the schedule. So I know the All-Star break is a lot of people don't know the players here have such a limited time off throughout the year that the All-Star break is a great opportunity for those who don't get voted into the All-Star break to just kind of go home, see their family for a couple days, and kind of, quote unquote, forget baseball for a day or two, and then come back refreshed for the final 7-8 weeks of the season. So the front office staff does that as well a little bit. So when we get to the All-Star break, kind of take a quick break a little bit and step back from the game, and then hit the ground running when you come back after the break.
All right, a little personal stuff for our fans out there. Are you a coffee person, soda person for these long days, these long doubleheaders? Are you an energy drink person, iced tea? What is your go-to drink?
I am not a coffee person. I am an energy drink person. It's probably not great for you, but
sure.
I actually have a little bag, a little station of Red Bull hidden up in the press box that I can go to on those long days, because we're here, a lot of times at 9:30 in the morning, and once the games end at night, I'm leaving around 11 o'clock or so. So doing that one day is not that big a deal, but when a 8-9 game homestand comes and you're working 14, 15 hours a day for 8-9 days straight, you need a little pick me up. So I've got some Red Bull up in the press box, and I also have a drawer in my office that has probably a little too much candy that I shouldn't be eating either. But something, I need a little bit of pick me up every once in a while, and just never got into coffee. Never been a coffee person, so Red Bull for me, and candy, and all the healthy stuff.
Well, I know it's in vain when I go to the press box in July and August. There is an extra Red Bull that you have. But anyway, leave us how people can connect with the Tides.
Yeah, so if for more information on just our schedule or ticket prices and all our game schedule, you can log on to NorfolkTides.com. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, we're Facebook.com/NorfolkTides, Twitter @NorfolkTides, Snapchat @NorfolkTides, and Instagram @NorfolkTides. And then folks who want to watch any highlights of all of our home games, we put those up on YouTube. Just search Norfolk Tides clips, and you can search for all of this, probably about a 3-minute video from every one of our home games that we're just kind of recap what happened. But Facebook and Twitter is probably the best way to reach out to us if you have any questions. Other than that, our NorfolkTides.com website is 24 hours a day, obviously, and you can get tickets and look for all the information there.
And remember, folks, these are all archived on YouTube. Just type in Sports Scene Ian Locke if you want to hear any segments from the past as well. Ian, all the best. We look forward to hearing about your staff next week on Sports Scene.
All right, sounds great. Thanks for having me, Greg.
Very good. My pleasure. Ian Locke right there from the Norfolk Tides right there, a good part of the summer. Our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Go by and see Paul and the wonderful staff. Get some great lunch and dinner, wings, of course. Watch the World Cup, all the games on TV at 12150 Jefferson Avenue. Download their app as well. Give them a call at 249-3999. For more, go to Buffalo Wild Wings, like them on Facebook, visit their website for delicious lunch, dinner, and great food.
There's no doubt about it. There's no better feeling than being able to make someone's dream come true. Project 143 gives orphans the opportunity to leave their orphanage and visit an American host family. That could be your family. Each child's story and picture and more about hosting over Christmas or for a few weeks during the summer is available online at p143.org. There are 143 million orphans worldwide who need you. Consider hosting an orphan for a few weeks this year with Project 143. Find out more at p143.org.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicaveras. Now, back to Greg. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
All right, time now for highlights. Of course, Sports Scene is online on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Saturday on the radio from 10 to 11 on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM, 1010 AM, tunein.com, type in WPMH, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, tourists, bookmark it, browse, shop, visit HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Follow it on Twitter as well, GJBTV.com and HRSMHOF.com. Our question of the day presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to Joe Daniel. Joe Daniel, we've talked about tattoos, but you've got a very interesting tattoo. This is radio. People can't see it. Talk about your tattoos and the lifelong decision it had.
Yeah, it's an owl across my chest with flowers all colored in. It's an owl that's actually holding like a pocket watch. And the time on that watch is 11:59. And I just saw the design. I was doing some scrolling on images, and I saw this guy have an owl tattoo, and I really liked the design. And so owl obviously has like the significance and meaning of wisdom. And he's holding a watch that has the time 11:59. And I picked that time because it's supposed to essentially just be wise with your time because you don't have much left. Essentially, the hour is nigh, if you will. But yeah, I talk to a lot of people and they're all don't want to get something that they're going to regret. Like you said, you have to put in a lot of thought as to what you want because it's so obviously permanent. But what I tell people is find a design that you really like and then assign it a meaning. So if I'm talking to a girl and she really likes this kind of bird or something like that, and she wants to get that bird tattooed on her, I would tell her, well, assign it a meaning. Like you have siblings, so have each bird represent a sibling or a grandparent or something. So that way it's not just a cool design, it's a design that actually has meaning and purpose, and you're having the best of both. So instead of trying to have the meaning and purpose first and then trying to think of a design for it, have the design and then assign it a meaning.
But yours is big and colorful. That's not the little ankle tattoo.
No, it's not a little, exactly. It's not something that's small on the wrist or anything like that. No, it's big across my chest and goes down my sternum pretty close to my stomach.
Yeah, and for the record, I have no tattoos, but Joe Daniel, that's brave. It's front and center for sure.
Yeah.
And obviously it's more visible during the spring and summer.
Yeah, absolutely. You get a lot of people at the pool looking at it, and they're not making eye contact with you. They're actually just like looking at the tattoo like, wow, that's crazy.
Well, very good, as long as you're happy, my friend. All right, our good friends at Courtyard Hampton. Go by and see Mark and the great staff at 1917 Coliseum Drive. Give them a call at 838-3300. Spacious rooms, excellent swimming pool, bistro, convenient to several locations like the Hampton Coliseum, malls, shopping districts, restaurants, an oasis in Hampton. Wonderful place, Courtyard Hampton. Book your reservations there. Have a lot of fun all over Hampton Roads at the Courtyard Hampton. Stay tuned.
At Hartman Dentistry, there's a reason why we have a perfect 5-star review rating.
Dr. Hartman is the most caring and gentle dentist I've ever been to. She takes her time with you and listens to every word you say. All of her staff are very professional, kind, and caring. I highly recommend this practice to anyone who's in search of a new gentle dentist.
Schedule an appointment today with Hartman Dentistry and receive a comprehensive exam for only $75. Call 757-873-3407.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicaveras. Now, back to Greg.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene. Reminder, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube during the week, on radio, three-way, Saturday morning from 10 to 11 on 1010 AM, 100.1 FM, tunein.com. Type in WPMH in the search bar. Let's talk to our monthly feature, Gina Ippolito from Smithfield VA Events. Gina, how are you? Happy summer to you.
Happy summer to you, and we're definitely getting hit with summer today. It is hot.
Oh, yes, definitely. Speaking of hot, it's getting closer and closer to your event in the fall because it's never too early to plan an event like that as far as tickets and everything else.
No, it's not. We just came off of rolling off our we do 3 events a year, and the first one in our season starts in October. So the one that's upcoming is the Bacon Bourbon Beach Music Fest, which is October 6th. But like you said, it's not too early to get ready. We are currently renewing our sponsorships. We will start with new sponsorships here probably in about a week. The individual VIP tickets, actually for all 3 of our events for the upcoming season, go on sale July 1st online. And then our general admission tickets and non-sponsor tables for the Bacon Bourbon Fest go on sale July 25th. At 7 o'clock in the morning is the first release, and July 26th at 8 o'clock at night is the second release. So, yeah, we're already gearing up for it. It's crazy.
We'll talk about the event. This is technically year 5, and then 1 year got rained out, so this will be the 4th fall event, correct?
Yes, it is. This will be our 5th year / 4th event to do the Bacon Bourbon Beach Music Fest, and it's kind of cool. I mean, where else should you get bacon except in Smithfield? So it's a little bit different than some of the other bacon fests that you see in the area. You actually get half a pound of thick, juicy Smithfield bacon. It's about 8 slices. It comes in a little boat, and once you pick up your boat of bacon, you can eat it the way it is, or you can take it over to what we call the bacon condiment tent. And we've got various things that you can do to it. We've got flour tortillas. You can make a BLT wrap. You can turn it into nachos. We've got stuff to dip it in, shake on it. We even have like a dessert section where you can crumble some Oreos on it and put some chocolate sauce if that's what floats your boat. But yeah, so you get the bacon. You also, with your ticket, get unlimited tastings of Virginia brews. And then if you upgrade to the bourbon ticket, you get to sample 10 half-ounce samplings of, we have, bourbon is a little crazy, but somewhere between probably 60 and 70 different bourbons to choose from. We've got a handful that are very special, hard-to-get bourbons, and then we also have, that's one station, there's 8 total bourbon stations. So one is difficult, hard to get, and then there's one that is expensive bourbons, and then the other 6 stations are just a little bit of everything. But you go in the bourbon tent and you turn in your little tab off your wristband, and you get a special souvenir tasting glass to do both the beer and the bourbon tastings when you get to the event. So it's a lot of fun. We've got 3 stages with entertainment. We've got other food vendors if bacon's not your deal. And, of course, we do sell beer and wine also. So it's a great day, and it's a beautiful at Windsor Castle Park in the fall, and we're looking forward to everybody coming out this year.
Yeah, a lot of events, come and go. Folks, don't take it for granted. These festivals are great. They're part of the quality of life of the Hampton Roads. Look at the people in Emporia. They recently lost their pork festival, so please don't take it for granted. Support this wonderful event. And really, it's all about the people, the volunteers that make it happen. Correct, Gina?
It is. I mean, we do our events. Our mission is twofolded. The number one mission is for charitable impact to our community. We just gave away almost $77,000 from the wine festival, which was in April. Our total to date since we started is $818,000 plus dollars. We do anticipate hitting the $1 million mark at this upcoming next year's 2019 wine festival. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, Smithfield is a small community. I mean, there's 8,000 people that live in our town. There's 35,000 people that live in our county. And for us, I mean, being able to donate $180,000 to $200,000 a year back to the community from our 3 events is a huge impact for our community.
Very nice. Talk about the before and after. What should people do if they want to, volunteer or go to the event?
If you're interested in finding out more about the event, we have our main website is SmithfieldVAEvents.com, and from there there is a tab for volunteerism. So there's information on that, how to sign up as a individual. Most of our volunteers come from groups that come out and volunteer. We also make donations back to those organizations. And then also from that website, you can click on whichever one of the events you're interested in. So most people these days are looking towards the Bacon Fest, so it's kind of highlighted on our homepage. So you can click on it and get all the information about when tickets go on sale, what's included in your ticket. We will be updating which breweries are coming and which bourbons we have as time goes by. And it's just got all kinds of information on there about sponsorships, getting a table. Just about anything you want could be found on the website. So, again, that website is SmithfieldVAEvents.com, and then click on the event you're interested in. So,
right. We'll be getting more updates as people get excited about this wonderful event in the fall. Like she said, it'll be the 4th overall event in 5 years, and we'll be talking to Gina again in late July. Gina, thank you so much. We look forward to getting another update next month, and have a good rest of this week, and stay cool.
Oh, you too, and thanks for having me. We'll talk to you soon, Greg.
My pleasure. Always good to talk to you, Gina. Gina Ippolito right there. And Joe Daniel, as you well know, these community events and summer events are a big part in the fall to quality of life. We're always looking for things to do, but festivals are a big quality of life for people all over Hampton Roads.
No, you're right. Absolutely. They're a lot of fun. It brings the community together to have fun with neighbors or just strangers that you're all having a good time with. And Windsor Castle Park, where the event is going to be held, that's my favorite park to go to. I love going on the trails there, so it's a great location. If you've never been there, I highly recommend visiting Windsor Castle Park. It's an amazing park. A lot of equipment for the kids, trails, bike trails as well, and they have a dog park there. I mean, literally, there's everything there at that park. What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
I want to thank our good friends at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Mike and the staff, spacious, nice dining area, bar, lunch, and dinner daily. Great place for burgers, steaks, soup, salads, appetizers, seafood, pasta. Great rollout menu. Go by and see the wonderful staff. Get some great service, great food, lunch, dinner, late night right there at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville, 1255 Fordham Drive. Give them a call at 523-4832. Open 7 days a week. Take a break from the beach and go to Kempsville in Virginia Beach for great food at Outback Steakhouse today. All right, what teased me off, our favorite segment right here. Joe Daniel, long phone calls. We mentioned long emails, but long phone calls aren't fun either.
Yeah, like the conference call or something like that, where it's just one thing always leads to another thing, which leads to another thing, and then you have someone who's constantly... does anybody have any questions? And there's always that one guy who raises his hand and prolongs the phone call even further, accomplishing nothing.
You can relate to this. I think we all can. I dropped something down in the sink a few weeks ago that was very valuable. No, it was not a coin or jewelry. It was medicine. Let's leave it at that right right there, and it just went right down the drain. It's one thing for you to personally drop it down the drain, but for a guest or visitor, that makes you kind of even more a little upset.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but I think that we just have that tendency. Like you said, there's a difference between whether we do it or somebody else does it. And it's the same thing like if you're driving on the road, you do something like you cut somebody off because you have your own justification for it. You can excuse it. But somebody else does it to you and you're like, oh, look at that jerk. It's a weird bias that we have.
And we got July 4th coming up, folks. Don't take it for granted. Road rage is a serious problem. Google it, go to YouTube. It's best not to make eye contact with the driver next door because that can provoke, and also flashing your lights can provoke, little things can provoke people during the hot heat of the summer.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much scientifically, statistically proven that higher temperatures result in higher violence and higher crime. It's weird how the weather, the temperature has that kind of effect on us, but you are 100% absolutely right. I mean, count to 10. And if you can't count to 10, count to 100. Do whatever it takes to calm down because, again, accidents happen. Things will happen on the road. You can't control it, but you can control yourself. And along with that, 4th of July, a lot of people are going to be drinking. A lot of people are going to be partying. Be safe on the roads. Don't drink and drive.
Right, especially when 4th of July falls right in the middle of the week. And like this, too, about road rages, it's not like they can hear you. You're in your car, they're in their car. It's not like we're close by hearing each other. So really, it's almost, when you think about it, it's a big waste of time.
Yeah, it doesn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, because you can't hear what the person's saying, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. I'm not a big fan of photo shoots at all, but when a photographer tries to grandstand or embarrass you in a group photo like they're in control, attitude-wise, at a wedding or a big event, it's like, stand here, sit here. Oh, do you want to be alone? Do you want to be in a group? How about just shut up and take the picture?
Yeah, I mean, they try to make you look good. I understand that, but you're right. Having them control you like a mannequin, put your hand here and then wrap this, and then hey, if you could turn slightly this way, it's just, like you said, sometimes you just want to take the picture.
As that bumper music we had a while back, let me just take a selfie, whatever. All right, we've talked about bartenders on the show a lot. One was so busy multitasking, they couldn't even slow down, breathe themselves to find out what the customer even wanted. Not even to say, are you okay?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's a tough job, that bartending, because you're taking people's drinks, you're dealing with customers, and you're bringing out food. It's a hard, like you said, it definitely is hard. Answering the phone along with that.
They were just a wreck. How about this? People who act different off the air or on the air.
That's a big thing.
Be yourself.
Exactly. There was a guy that at a radio station in San Diego, that was one thing that I mentioned, like he never has an off button. He's always on. He's always on the air. You can run into him at a grocery store and he's just always on the air. And at least he's consistent, and that's my thing. Be consistent. If you're going to act one way in this scenario, you should act that way all the time or something like that. It's just being consistent. Be who you are on the air, off the air, at this place, at that place, at a grocery store, at your home, at church. That's my big thing, is consistency.
Coming home or waking up to surprises. Recently, I opened the front door, saw a bird right there just who couldn't move, was stationary on the doorstep, and obviously just ran into the window thinking it was the clear air.
Yeah. That's happened to me before. I was in an office building talking to my manager, and all of a sudden I just hear a huge crash against the window, and the bird unfortunately died, smacked into the window, and we saw it, and we all walked down the stairs and saw this dead bird there. It was crazy.
Yeah, I saw a deer one time in college go through one window out the other. Oh, wow. This one real quick. Buffets on the holidays when the air conditioner's acting up, it's like wolves on a prowl. They're like hot and they want their food. Not taking responsibility. Folks, take responsibility for your own actions.
Always.
Don't blame others.
Always.
Food not worth the price you pay.
That's bad. Or the portion. That's one thing. Like these really expensive platters that it's not a full platter, it looks like. It's just like one little piece of meat here, a carrot over there or something like that, and then it just looks fancy. And I never understood that. Like, I guess it's the American Western side where portions are big, but that's one thing. You pay, $15, $20 for a platter, and it's not even that much. And not only is it not much, it ain't even that good.
Right, you only get like one and a half yourself. When two buffets and two drinks are about $100, it's time to go to a different buffet.
That's crazy.
That's what teased me off. Want to thank all of our great guests today on Sports Scene. Make it a habit every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 on 100.1 FM. TuneIn.com, type in WPMH, AM 1010. Right here on the Lighthouse. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Also watch sports highlights. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Picaveras. Enjoy your Saturday, and we'll talk to you soon.